Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first training. I'm going to give everybody just a second to hop on. If you're catching the video here on our Facebook group, Fit and Healthy Moms Creating Fit and Healthy Homes, and that's awesome. You're probably seeing it live or you're seeing it as a replay. If you're seeing this on YouTube or somewhere else, then you can go to Facebook, Fit and Healthy Moms Creating Fit and Healthy Homes. Join the group and then you'll have access to all of the free files, and then every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. we're going to do a training. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited about this training today because one of my most requested training topics, and really one of the biggest things that I help a lot of my clients with, is organizing their schedule. So I do fitness coaching and nutrition coaching, but before we can ever even start that, we have to find time in our schedule to allow for ourselves, right? So on a day-to-day, everything seems super crazy. So what I like to do is plan everything out one time per week, make all of my decisions one time per week, find where I'm gonna fit that time for me in each week, and then try to stick to it as best as possible. So it might look different from week to week, and we'll go over that in a second, but really the point here is to say, let's make a schedule, let's make a plan, and let's make sure that my family priorities, my work priorities, myself as a priority, everything is on pen and paper, and we can kind of check it off as we go through the week. So this, you might not be able to read this probably watching the video, but it's more for me. We'll go over all this stuff. I'll post a picture of this board in the group after we're done, and then I'll probably shoot something out to the emails, to your email, of just sort of like a step-by-step guide of what we went over here. So this, what I have here, is just a blown-up version of this weekly planning sheet. So you can find this plan sheet for free in the Files tab on the group. So just if you're on the computer, it's on the left-hand side. If you're on your phone, it's on the top, and you just click Files, and then you'll see Weekly Plan Sheet, and you'll see a bunch of other free printables. So let's just jump right in. The first thing that we have to do when we are creating some kind of a schedule for ourselves is we have to figure out what our priorities are. So as a mom, if you ask a mom, what's your priorities, you're going to give sort of the cliche answer of, well, my kids come first, and then my husband, and then this, but we kind of want to step away from that today. Don't give me the answer of that moral obligation sort of answer, or what's true to your heart sort of answer. Realistically, logistically, what are your priorities in a week? You're not going to say, I'm sorry, boss, I can't, come to work today because at 10 o'clock it's my nail appointment, right? That's not how you're going to prioritize. You're not going to, in your heart, you're going to prioritize yourself over your job, but on your schedule, you're going to prioritize your job over yourself, right? Unfortunately, but yes. So that's where the mindset is that we want to think of. Logistically, throughout the week, how do I have to prioritize fitting everything in? So for me, that might look like my job. So I have, outside of coaching, a job, right? So my job, we homeschool, so homeschool, family stuff, holistic family journey, so that's my coaching. Then I might say self-care, so that's myself, working out and things like that. And then that's probably going to be my core priorities. So this is logistically in my life how I have to prioritize things. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it into an actual schedule. So I like to see everything visually. That's how we can actually say, instead of, hey, here's 25 things to do today, okay, I'll find a way to make it work. With time blocking, you actually have to draw out how you're going to make it work. So I know it's a little bit hard to see on this board. I'm going to fill it in, and then I'll try to zoom it up to you. And then again, I'll send you pictures of this after the training. So first thing for me would be my job. So I know that I typically work from 8 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. And then usually I close out the day. I have like a flexible hours, so then I usually close out the day between like 4 and 5, Monday through Friday. And then Mondays and Wednesdays for me from 10 to 2 are my long days. So I got that blocked in there. So priority number 1, job, boom, off the list, it's on my schedule. So now I can't schedule anything else during those times. If I have something that needs to happen during those times, then I'm going to need to make a decision about it as I'm sitting down and making this plan. Homeschool. So let's just do a different color. So school, we typically try to do before work. So Monday through Friday. I'm going to have school here, and then usually on Fridays we try to do some sort of like outing or like a trip or something, and usually we're back home by 2 o'clock, so I'm just going to block out Friday for school too. So school, done, off the list. Family stuff. So at the top of your weekly plan sheet is going to be an events and appointments section. So you can put in anything that's an actual appointment, somewhere that you have to be, a doctor's appointment or an obligation that you have like that. You're not going to put in, like regularly scheduled stuff, your job, your school, we do bedtime at 8 o'clock, whatever, just something that you would put into your calendar. So for us, I know we do on Tuesdays at 11 is library, Thursdays at 11 is library. Thursdays is tumbling at 10:30. I'm pretty sure that's all we have on our calendar for this week, but if I had a doctor's appointment or something like that, something else to do, then I would put that in here too. So this would count to me as family stuff. So this is like, we're going to a library trip, I'm going to a doctor's appointment, we're going to whatever, an event. That to me would count as family stuff. So in following my priority list, I'm down to family stuff. So I'm going to do my 11 a.m. library. That usually takes about an hour. Make sure that you account for traveling time. 10:30 tumbling. Usually I don't get back home until 12. So even though the class is an hour, it really takes about 2 hours of my time. So it's library, tumbling. So now I'm good. I got all my family stuff in there. I'm sorry. Let's go back to family for one more second. We do also, like, usually from 6, like around 6 o'clock is usually dinner time, and that happens every day. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend or not. And then usually from like 8 to 9 is when we're like settling down, maybe we're having TV time, and then my daughter goes to bed, so family time. All right, so now my family stuff is good. So the mornings are really like whenever anybody gets up and, we get together, we have a breakfast, whatever it is, but at the evenings, we actually do kind of block out that time. So we'll put that in. Next is gonna be my coaching. So now you can see, if I had just started with my coaching, which is my passion, right, that's what I want to do, then I would probably just have this whole thing blocked out as coaching. But now I have a realistic view of, okay, when can I fit in some time for, which I consider my coaching and self-care to sort of just all be me time. That's time for me to work on stuff that I'm passionate about, or go to the gym, or do whatever I want to do for me. So now I can see on my calendar, when do I realistically have time for that? So I typically have a little bit of time in the afternoon. So maybe I'll probably do the afternoon as my like workout time. So that's going to be, I'll actually just skip a step here and do self-care. So self-care here, and then I'm going to pop my coaching in before the day starts, and then probably between dinner time and family time. And then I have my coaching on Sunday mornings. And so we'll put that here. So now we checked off all of the items on our priority list. So that's really what you come up with, is this sort of blocked out schedule. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so now I can see if somebody says, hey, do you want to grab bite to eat on Tuesday? I can see, okay, yeah, sure, we can either grab a coffee at 10, otherwise I'm free after 12. Or, hey, can you do something on Saturday? Sure, after 8 a.m. And that gives me sort of a better snapshot view of the week. So now you have your time blocking all set up. So we did time blocking, we did our events and appointments up here, we followed our priority list, and then we're going to make any conflict decisions one time a week. So if, let's just say you had an appointment that fell into your work time, you're going to decide at that point, am I going to move my appointment? Am I going to ask my boss for some time off? If you have tumbling on the same day that you have a haircut appointment or something, you're going to have to make a decision at that point. It might be helpful for you to sit down and do this, at least the base of it, with your spouse or anybody who you share household responsibilities with. So whether that's a nanny or a grandparent or somebody, and just go over the schedule and see who's responsible for what, and handle and make those conflict decisions one time a week. That way on the day-to-day, when you're in it and you're doing all of your things that you have to do, you don't have to stop to say, oh crap, what am I going to do? Should I call my boss and tell him I have to leave early today? So that takes a little bit of the stress off. So then we're going to go into meal planning. It is another decision to just take off of your plate throughout the week. So the more deciding we can do on this Sunday, maybe when you sit down after our training and you do your weekly plan sheet, let's think about meals. So this is not the time to think about what recipes you saw on Pinterest that you want to try and, overwhelm yourself with all of these new things. You want to be realistic. Realistically, every single day for breakfast, I have eggs. Eggs, bacon, and an English muffin. Every single day. So a couple of years ago, if I maybe did this chart, I might have said, oh, you know what, Monday I want to try this fancy broccoli cheddar scramble that I saw on Pinterest. But the truth is, we're waking up, I gotta get my coaching done, I gotta get my job done, I gotta get my daughter ready for school, I gotta get all these things. I don't want to have to be, learning a new recipe in the morning, right? So be realistic. If you have oatmeal in the morning or fruit, or if you grab a smoothie on the way to work or whatever, just be realistic with what your meals actually are. Then you go into lunch and then into dinner, the same thing. Make sure that you block out any meals that you typically would eat out. So we typically do a family date night on Fridays for dinner. And then typically Saturday or Sunday for lunchtime, we'll go out and we'll do something outside of the house, and usually we'll just grab food while we're out. So this sort of helps you with your shopping list. You're not going to overbuy your food. And then also it kind of takes one more thing off of your plate to say, okay, realistically, I don't need to plan a meal for Friday. We'll do meal planning in depth another time, but just some other tips. If you are sort of on a budget, or also if you just don't want to waste food, try to make meals that have similar ingredients. So if you're using ground meat on Monday, try to use ground meat again, let's say later in the week, so that way you can buy it in bulk. Same thing with chicken or certain vegetables. If you're buying asparagus to have with lunch on Monday. Try to have asparagus maybe at least another day throughout the week, so that way you can either only have to cook once, so cook extra and then eat it again later that week, or find 2 meals that use that same ingredient so that you can buy it in bulk and save money that way. Okay, so now we did meal planning. We're going to be realistic. We're going to reuse meals and ingredients to save money, and then we're going to allow for outings. So again, we'll do a specific training on meals another time, but this should give you a basic overview. Chores. I do have in the free principles section on the group a separate chores list where it actually gives you like, there's a blank one and then there's one that gives you like a filled in idea of like what to do daily, what to do weekly, what to do monthly, and then what to do as needed, so that you can kind of just, you print one out each month and then you'll see it has like 30 days or 31 days and then you just check it off if it was done or not. But if you don't want to have 2 sheets and you just want to do everything on this 1-page weekly plan sheet, you can use this chores and habits section. So a habit would be something like maybe drink water. And so now every day, let's just say your goal is to drink, I carry around this thing. So my goal is usually to drink 2 or 3 of these a day. So if I say, okay, my goal is to drink 3 of those a day, every day that I drink 3, I'm going to put a check mark. That way at the end of the week, I would know, okay, I didn't do that great on Tuesday or Saturday. Now I can self-reflect. I can say, okay, well, what was I doing on Tuesday that maybe I didn't drink enough water? Maybe I need to be conscious of it next week. And then that way you know your areas that you need to improve. So chores that you would want to put on this chart, this is not a place to like validate yourself and list everything that you do. If you were to list every single chore that you do and every task that you complete, you would need like 12 pieces of paper. There's no way, right? Like you do a lot every single day, and this is not a place for you to list all of that out so that you can check it off, right? We don't want to use it that way. We want to use this for stuff that we forget to do. So, I don't know. I would ideally like to start the dishwasher every single night before I go to bed. 9 times out of 10, I forget. I wake up in the morning, the dishes are still dirty. I might put that on my list. Taking out the trash. If you have a task that's due only like 1 time a week, so let's say for the trash, so trash bins, we take them out on, I think, Sundays, and then we bring them back in on Mondays. What I usually do is I circle the days that I actually want to complete the task. That way I know, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Saturday, I don't have to worry about that task. So use this chores list for a couple of different chores. I intentionally didn't make this a big list. If you want a separate chores list, get that separate sheet and then do that on its own thing. But on a day-to-day, these are like your couple of things that are really important, but you frequently forget to do, or habits that you want to start building, and so you're going to track them until they become a routine for you. So we got chores, list things you often forget, and this is not a place to validate yourself and what you're doing every day. Same sort of idea for the to-do list, not a place to list every single thing that you do. I know for me sometimes, because I am a list person, I like to, even if I did something already, I'll just write it down and then I'll check it off. This is not a place for that. You want to pick 3 or 5 things that you have to get done this week. They're actually a priority, they're actually on your radar, and then you're going to put them here. So this is not for like all the little tiny little things that you have to do, walk the dog and, take out the trash. This is like, get a gift for so-and-so's birthday this weekend. Big things that have to get done. Okay, and then mindset is really a big part of this. So we talked about mindset in the beginning for prioritizing. We want to sort of step out of thinking in that mom, kids come first and this, and think logistically so that we can get everything done. But we also want to be realistic in a sense of allowing for change. So you might spend an hour on this today, and you're super excited to start it tomorrow, and then something happens. An event pops up that you forgot about, you don't have it in your schedule, now you're stressing. You didn't get the ingredients for your lunch meals or something on your meal plan, and so now you have to go and get food out, but it wasn't on the list. Don't stress stuff like that. Don't trash this whole thing and say, you know what, I'll try again next week because one thing got messed up. Use that to self-reflect, to do better for next week, to improve on your planning skills, and just be open to things not going exactly as they were supposed to. You might have all this stuff planned for Thursday, and then Thursday comes up, your friend says, hey, you want to go to, take the kids to the zoo, whatever. Yeah, you know what, I'm going to take off work, I'm going to do this. Don't be confined to this time blocking. This is supposed to be a tool. This is not supposed to confine you or put you in a box. This is a tool to help you get everything that's in your head onto paper so that you can have some sort of relief. So, I'm getting out of breath. So, use this. Again, this is a tool. This is the weekly plan sheet. I'm going to post a picture because I can see in the video it's really hard to read this. So I'll post some pictures of this board so as you're going through, you can look in the comments and see what that guy was talking about and actually see a close-up of this stuff. Post your comments, post your questions in the comments, and I will absolutely go through either later today or tomorrow and answer all of them for you. And then keep an eye on the group. I am not sure what training is going to be for next week, but I will announce it, and then we can totally do a Q&A if you guys are having questions on this or need a little bit of help. So thank you for joining. I hope this was helpful. This was time blocking and creating a family schedule, and I will see you next week, Sunday at 9 a.m. for another training. Bye.